Hello and welcome to another episode of Obscura Undead. I know we're on hiatus. Shut up. But Adam, the Black Rose, came to me before we decided the hiatus nest if we would review Nox Novacula's new album, Ascension, out on Manic Depression and Batcave and self-release, I guess, on Bandcamp. So how could I say no to that? So one episode in June. That's all you get. And I'm Azzy.
I'm Adam, the Black Rose.
Yeah. And Nox Novacula. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I know the grammar thing. A band is supposed to be seen as one, but we always say they and them. Just the way it is.
Tell us about this musical unit.
Yeah, about this musical unit. I was about to say they like to travel in a contraption. Oh, I love the two of us together. So about Nox Novacula, they come from Seattle, which is obviously in America, although it's closer to my side of the border than it is to yours.
Yeah.
Seattle's about 3 hours away from here. The band members, according to Discogs, are Charlotte Blythe, sorry if I pronounce any of them wrong, Dav Tafoya, maybe it's Dave, but it's got interesting spelling, Ezra Bolotin, and Zoo Laika, according to Discogs. So I'm really sorry if I mispronounced any of those names.
Yeah, and Charlotte she's the vocalist. Do you have info on what everyone else plays?
I don't know who's who. That stuff is so vague, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was having a hard time tracking that info down myself.
Yeah, hopefully someone will come in the comments and correct us. And I do want to talk about their name because I really love that name. Just when you hear it, Nox Novacula, it's got a good ring to it, especially for a goth band. And so Nox Novacula means in Latin, night razor. Novacula is razor, whereas Nox is night. And to my knowledge, they actually use that word in some Slavic languages. Some pronounce night notch and some say nosht. So it's coming from that derivative, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, I really think they're quite interesting in terms of their style. Like many bands nowadays, they do get tossed into the death rock category, but I don't agree with that 100%. From where I stand, I see them more post-punk or dark post-punk, as you call it, going into what I interpret as the first wave of gothic rock. So the bands that they remind me of particularly are Exmo Deutschland, early Susie and the Banshees, the first album from Bauhaus, Dreamtime and Love from The Cult, and a little bit of 100 Years from The Cure. And that's my interpretation, as you can explain yours.
Yeah, so I admit that my definition of death rock is really biased, and I know that I'm solely basing me putting them in more of a dark post-punk category is due to Charlotte's vocals, but the bass, the drums, the atmospherics, the guitars, they are very death rock, although it reminds me of the music that we've been hearing specifically out of the Oakland scene with Ötzi and Adrenochrome and Bastet and Mystic Priestess. I was shocked actually when I found out that Nox Novacula was from Seattle many moons ago, because I did not expect that, because they sound like some of the really amazing music we're hearing from further south down in California. But I don't know, maybe it's a West Coast thing. Maybe it's something in the ocean air, but it is so good.
Absolutely.
And their bass lines give me a good bass line and I'll be happy.
Yes, yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, that's, in my opinion, what makes goth, I don't want to say what makes goth, but one of the quintessential aspects of goth, especially post-punk and gothic rock. We need to hear the bass. And
yeah, crank that shit up to 11.
Yeah, they've totally got it.
Yeah. So we are also specifically talking about their latest release from May 28th, Ascension, which is their debut full length. They've put out releases before this. They have an EP, a compilation, and a 2-track single. Oh, and they did something with Prophet Prison. But Ascension is technically their debut album. Even if you take off Drug, which is on other releases, it's still a full album.
Yes.
So congratulations, debut. Manic Depression actually has it on vinyl right now. They're also selling a CD. So is Batcave Productions. They're selling this on CD. And I love the album cover. It's this cross that says Nox Novacula and it's in neon.
Yeah.
And I know they had someone make it for them. And so it's a real live sign. It's not like some digital mock up of a sign. Someone actually made a bitchin' Nox Novacula cross sign.
See, I never knew.
That's actually what I did my lighting, why it's all orange today, is because it's like the album cover.
Oh, that's so lovely. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the lyrics because you know me, Azzy. Lyrics are one of the very first things I go.
Okay, and the lyrics on this album are amazing. They're really, so tragic and like. Do
you remember "Face the Stench"?
Violent.
Yeah, and "Face the Stench." Oh, I really like that one. And the lyrics to "Victim." That one is also.
Oh, Victim! I could not figure out what that one was. It kind of made me think of like all of the incel mass shooters who want to think they're the victim, but
so I couldn't.
Not. It's self-entitled lies.
But the problem is, I find unfortunately many bands these days do not publish their lyrics, so I had to listen as close as possible. So I want to read.
They have their lyrics on.
They do. I didn't manage to find them.
Mm-hmm. They're on their Bandcamp page. Not on the Manic Depression ones that I saw, but on the Nox Novacula Bandcamp page.
Okay, then maybe you could help me in that case, because there's one song, Ascension, towards the end. I will read to you what I was able to comprehend, and then you can correct it. This really spoke to me. I'm missing the last word, so you can tell me what that one is. So this verse goes like this. Take my hand and we'll leave this place. We'll leave this way of life, and we can survive on our anger, and we can rely on each other. Oh, we can escape from, and the last word that I'm missing. But
was that Victim?
No, Ascension.
Ascension. Oh, going back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
feel so stupid. I didn't realize that they had the lyrics.
Let's see. We can survive on our anger. We can survive off each other. We can escape our tomorrow if we keep running from today. We'll just keep on running away forever. They're not going to stop our ascension.
Yeah, I love that one so much. It's a good album. One thing I've noticed about Ascension compared to the beginning, I know it's a compilation, but to me it sounds very much more like an album, is that Ascension is a lot more somber. That's what I've noticed. It's much, much more somber, and it's not as aggressive. I mean, the aggression's still there, but it's not to the extent of the beginning. I find that it's a bit more somber. It's got more of a melodic element.
I do agree with that.
And especially in the very last track, we were just talking about it. You can remind me of the title. It's got that grand piano or organ.
Oh, the organ in Shattered World where it's 7 minutes and you don't notice it because it's so good. And that organ they have going on is just...
And her voice.
Amazing. And
her voice a bit more.
Her beautiful voice. It's so clear and powerful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, very powerful. Like her personality. I mean, I'm not sure about yourself, but I've watched some of their live performances. One, my favorite one, is on this channel called KXCP. A few letters. I can tell you. 1 minute.
It's some local station.
I believe so. It's got DJ Charlize. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that name.
Not offhand, no.
Here, I will tell you. Nox Novacula live. And I'll send you the link. There it is. KEXP. That's what it's called. KEXP. Back in 2018 or 19, they performed, and DJ Charlize was the host of that event. I've seen DJ Charlize. Unfortunately, I never got to meet her, but she was DJing at... she passed away back in 2019, which would have been around that time. And, oh my God, Azzy, when I watched that performance, I was blown away. It was so amazing, and also the chemistry between the band. Sometimes you look at some bands while they're playing, and you can so tell they're there only because they have to be, not because they want to be.
Yeah.
And that's so not the case with Nox Novacula. They complete each other. They really, really do. That's what I've noticed. I find, especially look at the cover of the beginning, it's got Charlotte and the other three next to her. Mm-hmm. They really complete each other, and I can imagine them, on a bigger stage. I really like them.
Yeah, in a in a way, I just wanted to go back to talking about the lyrics on this album.
Oh, yes, yes.
Like I know that drug parentheses bitter pill is from previous releases, but I love the lyrics of this one so fucking much. You know,
Yeah.
it's a bitter pill. I'll swallow it whole like a memory pressed against my flesh when I feel you wrapped around my throat. I fucking love that so much. And there's so much on this album that's really destructive and hinting at violence without being like super overt about that violence, and like transgressive, and also just very powerful from the standpoint of, you know, like I own myself and I reject these things that I'm seeing.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's one of the reasons I like them. I see a little bit of my personality in Charlotte, very forthright, very dominant.
Same.
And it's, you know, and that's one of the reasons I like the song Face the Stench. When I listened to that song, well, more than once, but, you know, when I listened to it, what I imagine is she's taking someone that she utterly dislikes and puts them in a corner, you know, like when we were children, they tell us to go stand in the corner like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's standing there scolding them like this, you know. Why did you do that? What's that about? What got into you? You know, like that. You know, she's got that kind of personality, and you see it especially in their live performances. Oh my God, you know, I keep describing her as dominant, but even that's an understatement. You know, she is so present, so powerful. And oh my God, she's like a goddess, an angry goddess, an angry goth goddess on the stage, scolding. And, you know, it kind of reminds me a bit of early Bauhaus with Peter Murphy. In the flat field.
Just that kind of like commanding presence and commanding force of voice.
Yes. Yeah, commanding and demanding at the same time. You know, she looks at you and it's almost like you want to salute her. You know? Yes, ma'am. You know? Well, yes, I love it.
I feel that very much goes back to your point where you've said that you feel the band all sort of complete each other, because when you listen to it, no one element overpowers the other. Like they're all there. All the instruments are there. You know, the guitar is cut, the bass, you know, just throbs along, and the drums like just punctuated, and Charlotte's voice over
they're very
absolutely everything.
As I always say, proportionate. I know that's not a musical term, but it's the only term I can think of.
So I know that you said that you feel like Ascension is a bit more somber than kind of their earlier material, and I do agree with that, but I also feel like Ascension just feels so much more complete.
I would define it as being more what's that word? I'm losing my words today. They've defined their sound, so it's more clear.
Mature?
Well, I don't know if I could say mature, because, you know, I can't say that the previous stuff was immature nor amateur. I feel that they've defined... Sorry, I hit the microphone. I feel that they've defined their sound a bit better. Mercury's in retrograde. That's why a lot of people can't talk these days. So, yeah, no, I feel that they have defined their sound better, and it seems like they've got a clearer sense of direction. That's
cohesive?
Cohesive is a good word, yes, very cohesive. And it's more like experimenting is finished.
Oh, yes, it feels deliberate.
Yes, very deliberate and very much on purpose. You know, it feels like this is their talent channeling through. They're not experimenting. Does this sound good? Does that sound better? It sounds like it came to them. They had a very clear focus, a very clear sense of direction, and they went with it. They did not over-deliver nor under-deliver. It's very clear.
Well, they've been working on this for what, at least...
Probably a year and a half, I reckon.
No, I mean, like, as a band for 4 years now?
Oh, the whole entire project. Well, and you see, going back to that performance I was talking about, I'm forgetting the 4 letters again, the one with DJ Charlize.
I think it's 3 years. Excuse me.
Yeah, why do channels often come up with strange names? KEXV.
KEXV.
KEXP.
P.
Yeah. So KT Exploited, maybe I can try to remember it that way. So KEXP. Yeah, so going back to that performance, Charlotte said that the last time she was in a band was actually when she was 16.
How old is she now?
I don't know.
So I have no point of I have no way to point that into some kind of reference.
But my point is, she said that she hasn't been in a band since she was 16. I mean, the other members have. They've played in bands. And they were telling DJ Charlize that what happened, I think it went as they decided to play together, and then they said, let's form a goth band. And they kind of went back to the Sisters of Mercy and that stuff. And for Charlotte, she hadn't been in a band since she was 16. And it's amazing. I can't think of enough good things to say about this band.
I can't help but wonder if Charlotte's had like vocal training.
Sounds like she has.
Yeah, right? It absolutely does.
She's very, very ready. And like I said, I can't complain about this band. Sometimes you listen to some bands, they sound good, but then, in the back of your mind, you've got a list of things that they can improve. To me, Nox Novacula is not one of those bands. They're great. They're really, really great.
Absolutely. Because I find sometimes when I'm listening to albums for review, I find it like, I've listened to this so many times. I want to go listen to something else, but I'm listening to this right now. And then this album, I'm just going to put it on again and again and again and again.
Going back to the beginning, because there are a couple of tracks I really want to talk about.
Okay, the album, the beginning, right?
Yes, or the compilation,
compilation, which was a collection of their self-titled EP plus Hitchhiker and Drug, and that was released on Batcave Productions, who we love.
So the two that I really want to talk about are The Path and Michelle. So starting with the Path, or sorry, not Michelle, The Light Below, my mistake. Mm-hmm. So starting with The Path, there's that guitar melody. I mean, I don't play instruments, so I can't describe it technically. It goes something like this.
Oh, their earlier guitar work, it was kind of...
Oh, good.
You're right. It was a lot of their songs were defined by these really weird punchy bursts of guitar riff, right?
Well, see, you know the language better because you're a bassist, so you would know those terms better than I would.
Shit, come on.
Well, I mean, call a spade a spade. I'm not an instrumentalist. There's so many terms that my vocabulary is lacking. So, it sounds good when I hear it. Da, 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 da. It sounds so good. And, her voice is a bit somber on that song. She doesn't really scold people in the corners, I'd like to describe it. So it's a bit somber and it goes well with that. But then that really intense song, The Light Below, I wish you could read the lyrics to that song because
I'm not seeing the lyrics. I'm sorry.
Oh, that one. Okay, so it's just the new one that's got the lyrics then. Yeah. Okay, so if I were to offer them some kind of feedback, something to improve, publish the lyrics, please. That, and find a way to ship your CDs to Canada with a tracking number. That would be very helpful because I would like to own them, please.
I believe if you order from Batcave, I think that there's an option in their store to include a tracking number, so you can pay a little bit extra to get tracking.
Okay, I will look into that.
I've lost packages from Poland before, so I feel you.
Yeah.
But Nox Novacula has some good merch too, not just CDs. I have a patch and I have a koozie.
Oh, yeah, those are so popular now.
I love it. It's purple. It's this really dark purple with black print on it. And you can't fucking read the koozie, but it says Nox Novacula, birth, goth, death.
Love it.
And I have a patch that needs to still get sewn onto my battle vest because I haven't put a lot of time into it. Oops.
Yeah. Well, soon. Once the retrograde is over, things will go back on track.
Well, I'm going to do that while I'm on holiday next week.
Good idea. Do it up in the mountains. Try to think. Another song we haven't talked about. Against the Wall, going back to Ascension. I remember that song stood out to me, but I don't remember why. So shame on me for that. But yeah, that song was quite good. I don't remember why, but I remember liking it. I remember it stood out.
Are we back on Ascension?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of going between the two because one I find that one kind of completes the other a bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Against the Wall, I felt that that one was, instead of being about kind of interpersonal violence, was more about like protest and societal violence against groups of people. But I say that purely because of the lines, they've got us up against the wall. What we get is what we get. We got their boots upon our neck.
Yes.
Yeah, what we get is what we get.
Yeah. Sounds like the kind of thing a protester would say.
Yeah, but I feel like that messaging is so mixed in, like it's so clear, but I feel like there's just so many. I feel like once you peel back the initial meaning of a song, there's going to be like 2 or 3 more underneath it. There's a lot. I honestly like read these lyrics, and I've been watching a lot of like true crime shit on Netflix and YouTube, and I'm just thinking, do they do this too? Because this sounds like a lot of the true crime shit that I've been watching on Netflix. Did someone just binge this shit just like me?
Well, I also want to mention this show that they're playing. I think they're playing a few shows, but there's one special one which I believe is happening on the 18th of September in Seattle. It's going to be with Wingtips and Twin Tribes. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe that they're not playing on the entire tour. They're not touring with those 2 bands, but they will be supporting them on that show or at that show so that they can, promote Ascension.
Shoot, I'm trying to see their upcoming events. I see past events. I see that they have an album release with Prophet Prison on July 15th, which is a Thursday in Seattle.
Yeah, this one's supposed to be in September with Twin Tribes and Wingtips. I remember I shared the poster on Instagram. So if we have any viewers in Seattle, I recommend that you go. That's not going to be a show that you'd want to miss.
I just figured out that Dav is the bassist. Because I found a photo and he's holding a bass. So that's my assumption. It's my detective work for today.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing events for other shows off the bat, and I don't want to spend time scrolling through their Facebook right now.
Yeah.
Because I only saw the one earlier when I was looking.
Yeah.
Plus some stuff for their music video for Last Will and Testament, which is great. They're standing in a windy field. Charlotte's wearing this like frilly white dress. The wind is blowing.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Mm-hmm. But I honestly think that this album is going to end up being at the top of my lists for this year across all genres.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I definitely can agree.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to more material being released since they're self-titled back in 2018 or 2019. I think I found them in 2019.
Okay, yeah, I believe I found them last year. I'll tell you what I do want to see, not only for them, but for many goth bands. Manticore, yes, the Kentucky Vampires, Twin Tribes, and the list can go on. I want them to grow. That's what I want. I really want them to grow. I mean, so many of those bands are so tiny. I mean, I understand there's a meaning behind being underground, but I want them to grow. I really do. I want them to tour the planet.
Oh, you want to see a movement?
Yes, a movement... a celebration. That's what I call it. A celebration.
Celebration. Yeah. All right. So that is our call to all of you who are watching. Go celebrate Nox Novacula. And go listen and tell us what you think. Tell us what your favorite part of the album was. My favorite part, if I cannot pick Drug, because it's technically not new, I am going to pick Shattered World. Because that is just 7 minutes of epic.
Oh, yes, the grand piano. I would go for Ascension just for those lyrics alone.
It's hard to pick on this album, isn't it?
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So, Thank you, everyone, for watching this far. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Adam, for being just like, Azzy, we have to do this.
Thanks to you, Azzy. You are amazing.
But as always, we would like to thank our Patreon sponsors, the music lovers who make this show possible. And I'll see you when we come back from our hiatus. Mouse and I are probably going to do some kind of like update video because we have some plans for potentially changing up how we're organizing the channel just to bring everyone more and concise content. But you'll hear more about that later. So I'll see you in July. Oh, there are some things coming up on the channel. A intergenerational round table talk I'm going to be publishing as soon as I finish editing it. And then next week, we will be punishing. Sorry, this album's on my mind. Publishing an interview with Jacques Saff from Carnal Machinery, Virgin and Veil that Malik and I did ahead of his early July release of his debut album with Carnal Machinery Cluster A. So stay tuned for that as well. And we'll see you around. Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
This is